Hello, everyone. So, welcome to Career Launcher. My name is Naveen, and today we'll continue with our CAT 2025 series, Target 99 plus percentile. This is LRDI Basics Part 6 of the series. So, we will be solving a set. This set is going to be based on games and tournament, but not a direct games and tournament, but rather a miscellaneous sort of games and tournament of round robin or league matches, as they are called. In this, we will see how to manipulate a particular set, especially when numerical values are given. Okay, so the set is five teams OID and A played a local cricket tournament where each team played against every other team exactly once. A win results in 3 points awarded to the winning team. A tie results in 1 point awarded to each of the two teams, and a loss result in no points awarded to the losing team. The following table gives the sum of the points awarded to given pairs of teams at the end of the tournament. It is also known that there were total of three draw matches in the tournament. So basically, a round robin scenario between five uh, teams, where winning team gets 3 points, a draw means one, and the losses would mean no points. Okay, and then we are given a table where the sum of the points with teams N and O, they have 20. The sum of the points with team N and D is 40. The word here written is total, so that means we are looking at the sums here. Sum as in total of points. Similarly, with N and A is 11, N and I is 12. So N, let's say, has got X points. The remaining points out of 20 goes to O. Similarly, remaining out of 14 goes to D, and so on and so forth. So there are going to be steps involved. First of all, we need to figure out how many points. Okay. So points per team is what we need to figure out first. Because unless and until we do not figure out first, we would not know the win, draw, and loss sequence or the cases. How many wins a team made and how many losses it suffered, and so on. Okay, once that is done, the third step is who played against whom. So these are the three steps involved. Once we have decoded who plays against whom, whichever question is going to be asked, we will be able to answer all of them very quickly. So the initial stage is to understand these three steps and solve them. So we have to be smart about it. But before we start solving these questions, solving these steps and understanding how to do it and how to manipulate it, let's look at the questions first. So how many pair or pairs of team had equal number of draws in the tournament? Who won the match between A and D? So we need to know who played against whom. How many of the given five teams did not win any match? The match between A and I resulted in a which of the options, and who was at the bottom of the points table at the end of the tournament. So we need the points earned by each team. That's how we'll be able to solve the fifth one. Then we need to know who played against whom. That will help us solve question number 2 and 4. And then we also need to know that each team had won how many matches, lost how many, and how many matches were drawn. That will help us solve first and third. So basically, as expected, whatever we should know in a round robin or league match, we need to know all of that. So in a round robin scenario, if there are five teams, we draw a 5x5 matrix, as you can see here. Okay, and each column and each row will denote each of the teams, and the cell that is associated with each row and column denotes the match being played. So this cell will denote the match being played between the teams N and N, which doesn't happen. No team is going to play against each other. No team is going to play against itself. This is the cell which shows the match that is being played between N and O, right? Two different teams will definitely play a match. What will be the outcome? We do not know that yet. Also, this is also the match that is being played between N and O. Since each team plays against every other team exactly once, so we do not need two cells for that. We need only one cell. So what we do is we only look at the lower triangular, this matrix. Okay, so this is a square matrix with 6 rows and 6 columns, out of which the first row and first column, they are used to denote the name of the teams. So each cell represents a match. So you will always have a mirror image of each of the matches. So similarly, if I look at this particular cell, it's the match between D and O. Similarly, we have this particular cell, which is the match between D and O. So we will only take the lower triangular matrix. If you feel like, you can take the upper triangular matrix and the primary diagonal, as we call them in matrices, it will never be occupied. It will never be filled. So let's begin with the first step. Each team played, so each team scored how many points? So for that, we can see that if we add all of this, okay, so let's write it here. So if we add all of this, this is going to be 20, 30, 40, 50, 56, and 7. And here we get N and O and D and A and I. N is going to be basically 4 times. So I'm going to write 3 times N plus this. This is equal to 57. Now, if we look at NOA and NODAI, these are the 5 teams that are going to play. Now, among 5 teams, there are going to be a total of 5C2, or 5 into 4 divided by 2, which is going to be 10 matches. Now, each match is either going to end in a win and a loss result, or the match is going to end in a draw. Now, we are told that there were 3 draws in the tournament. So if there are 10 matches, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. If this resulted in a draw, this resulted in a draw, this, I'm not saying the first match resulted in a draw. I'm saying one of the matches out of these 10 will result in a draw. If that happens, then both the teams are awarded 1 point. Another draw, another 1-1, another draw, another 1-1. When the match is going to result in a win or loss, one team will get 3 points, another will get 0, as per the rules given. Similarly, another win loss will get 3-0, and this will continue until the one of the 10 matches will also result in a win or a loss. That's the last match. Not the last match of the tournament, but from the count perspective. So if you count the total number of points that are awarded to all these teams, the draws will result in a 6. And because there are 7 matches left out of 10, each of those 7 matches end in a win-loss result. So the total number of points from each match is going to be 3. So from 7 matches, it's going to be 21. So 21 plus 6, 27. So 27 points should be actually awarded. So here we can see that this should result in 27. So 3n plus 27 is 57. This will give us n is equal to 57 minus 27, which is 30, 30 by 3, which is 10. So basically, n gets 10 points every time. So O will get the remaining 10, D will get the remaining 4, A will get 1, while I will get 2. Okay. So let's fill this up. N gets 10 points, N gets 10 points. O gets 10 points, O gets 10 points. I gets 2 points, I gets 2 points. So I'm using Noida, so it's going to be easier for me to, keep track of things. D gets 4 points, Team D earned 4 points. And finally, A earned 1 point and A earned 1 point. Now, each team is supposed to play 5 matches. So if we look at N's 10, how can we get 10 from N? O's 10, how can that happen? I 2, how can that happen? D 4, how can that happen? And A 1, how can that happen? So if we look at A is 1, which is easiest because it's a small number, we can see that 1 will only come from if A drew a match. So A's one match was draw, and the remaining four matches resulted in losses. Because had he won one more match, he would have been awarded three more points, and his total points should have been four and not one. So A lost all the matches except for one, and that one match was drawn. Next, if we look at D, D's four can come from one win and a draw. That's 3 plus 1, 4, or maybe four ones. Now, if you're going to have four ones, that means D drew four matches, but it's given that three matches were drawn. So that four will come from one win, one draw. And since there are five matches, there are going to be three losses, right? So that's five matches overall. Now, ICE 2 will come from, there cannot be a win because a win is awarded, win gives a team 3 points. Since there are only two, so that means there were definitely two draws, and the other matches were, three matches were lost by, sorry, not three, there are total four matches each one plays. Sorry. Five teams, so each team will play four matches. Okay. If you look at O, 10 can come from 3, 3, 3, that's 9, plus 1, that's 10. And O is supposed to play four matches. So that means O won three matches and there was one match that was drawn. N played three matches, out of which three were won and one was drawn, because N also has 10 points. The next step is we need to figure out who played against whom and which match was drawn against whom, right? So we will start from here. N and O, they're supposed to play a match. They will definitely play one match. Now, if the result was a win and a loss, as in one of the two won and the other lost, then there should be an L written beside the names of these two teams. Since neither of the two teams lose any of the matches, that means the match played between them never ended in a win-loss. It ended in a draw. So the match between N and O, it ended in a draw. Okay, so I'm writing D for draw, or let's put a dash here so that there is no confusion, because we do have a D later on as well. So I'll put a dash denoting that this was a draw. Now, since N has to win three more matches, it's three more matches, it's going to be a win-loss result where N wins. So I'll write on the letter N there to denote that N wins that match. If you look at O, O is going to win its remaining three matches. So that team name will be seen three times. O is going to win against I, against D, and against A. So we're done with entirely with N and O. Now, if you look at I draws two matches. Now, the two matches of I cannot be against itself. So one match of I draw comes from A and another comes from D, obviously. So the match between I and D was a draw. The match between I and A was also a draw. So that was done. Now, let's look at D. D wins one match. So far, if we look at D, D hasn't won one. So D wins one match, which was obviously against A. So not only we were able to figure out the points awarded to each of the teams, we were also able to figure out what was the result against each of the teams. And then we also were able to figure out which team played against which team and what was the end result. Having completed this matrix, now we can go back and solve the questions. How many pair or pairs of team had equal number of draws in the tournament? So we can see that N and O, they had two draws. D and A, they had two draws. So that's two pairs of teams. Who won the match between A and D? So the match between A and D, we can see that D won. How many of the given five teams did not win any match? So we can see that I did not win any match. and A also did not win any match. So there was no W written beside their name. So there are two teams who did not win any match. Fourth, the match between A and I resulted in a. So between I and A, it resulted in a draw. Who was the at the bottom of the points table at the end of the tournament? So the lowest point was awarded to A, or was scored by A. So A was at the bottom of the table at the end of the tournament. So again, if you have no idea about the basics of games and tournament or round robin, this may be little cumbersome or moderately, moderate level or maybe difficult level for you. But this is basically somewhere between easy to moderate. Well, thank you for watching the video. Please make sure that you subscribe the channel, like the video if you enjoyed it, if you learned something new, and make sure to subscribe it with your friends. Thank you. I'll see you again with another session. Until then, take care. Bye-bye.